Hey guys, welcome to the channel. So as you probably saw from the title, I am going to be ranking most of the Freakpocalypse quests. Now, some of these were either just quests that I either just couldn't find some sort of picture for. Essentially that, just I couldn't find a picture for it. So we're gonna get started. Obviously, yeah, as you can see by the list, I do have it in sort of an interesting type of order. So first you've got Supercoop, because that's like the big thing in Freakpocalypse where it's like, oh, go Supercoop, woo! Second, Hilarious, because there are some quests that are absolutely hilarious. All Cute, I don't know about that one. Obviously there are some quests that are like kind of in a cute way. Meh is one, obviously you get it. There are some quests that can drag on a little bit, don't give much to the story, etc, etc, etc. So they're going to go in the meh category. And then the worst one is worse than delivering Granny's nudes. There is a quest, obviously you can see it with down there next to the lemon looking thing, the pink picture of the granny. There is a quest where you do have to deliver Granny's nudes. Honestly, I have been asked to do this, so I'm going to try and do it to the best of my ability. Obviously, if you guys have a different type of... if you have different thoughts on what I do, please comment down below. Like, honestly, I'd love to hear your opinions on the game. Also, in case of any spoilers, please, I will put a card somewhere where it'll actually link you to the Freakpocalypse stuff that I did, which includes all the main quests and the side quests. I didn't go achievement hunting or anything, so obviously we're keeping that out. But before I ramble on too much, let's just probably get started. Let's see how we go. Yes. Alright. So, I'm not going to do this in order of like what they are. I'll just do it in order of like this. So I've got to like, I might have to like look on a little bit of a page just to see like what quest it was. Because obviously some of these are a bit weird, I guess. Alright, so first we've got handing out the posters for Sawyer. I'm not really handing out the posters, it's more like you go around with 3 posters and you essentially just put them in different areas of the school. Honestly, it was probably one of the worst quests, to be honest. I mean, obviously you're helping your friend and everything, which is like the cute part of it. But ultimately, it isn't as good as some of the other quests. There are so many other quests that are so much better. So I think I may have to put it in worse than delivering Granny's nudes. Because it was not great. It was just one of the more boring quests out of it. And yeah, even though it's like essential to continuing on with the story, it didn't give me that, oh yeah, this is great, this is fun, this is woo type deal. It was just very uncomfortable and just very annoying to do. Anyways, next, finding the teacher strapped up in friggin' that. Honestly, I'm gonna go with that was hilarious, because honestly my face, especially if you watch back the videos, my god, I was scarred and it was hilarious and it was great. I would actually recommend, well, I would actually put that anywhere between Supercoop and Hilarious, because I absolutely love that. Like, even though it's not really a quest, it's literally you just walk into a classroom and there he is. It's hilarious. It is so great. Actually, I might actually put that in Supercoop because it was a good thing to walk in on. Alright, giving the hobo a pizza box so he can live in there. It was great. It was kind of cute though, because like it was like, oh, I'm giving him a house. Like, yeah, I'm gonna say oh cute. It was one of those things where it's like, yeah, I enjoyed it. As a quest, I enjoyed it. The lemon one, I don't remember that much about it, so I may just put it in meh. Because honestly, it's not one that I remember that clearly. And obviously, if it was one that I remembered that clearly, it would either go top or bottom. Whereas that one was just one of those ones that I didn't really like focus on that much. Like it wasn't like one of the main ones that you really focus on. Granny's nudes. Delivering Granny's nudes to the old retirement home, and oh my god. It was just hilarious, but also scarring at the same time. So I'm going to put it in hilarious, only because it wasn't that fun to do, essentially. But it was very, very hilarious when you actually were like, oh, holy shit, like, do not do this to me. The lasers. Now, honestly, there wasn't that much to it. Like, as you might see, or if you've played it, there's not really that much to all of these. Whereas I feel like the laser one was kind of... It was a bit meh. It wasn't that bad, but also in saying that, there wasn't really much to it. So, it was interesting. Permission slip, faking... Honestly, again, it was one of those ones that was kind of boring. There wasn't really that much to do. Obviously, you just go around gathering materials and stuff. Whereas that cannot be bad like all the time. There are obviously some quests in here that are actually pretty decent, pretty like, woo, let's go type deal. But that was just one of the ones that really just was more meh than anything. But yeah. Alright, next one. Making the... What was it? It was like a liquor, I think, wasn't it? And you had to like go around and search for all these materials and stuff. I'd probably say it was hilarious. Or it was like... I'd probably say it was hilarious. Because it wasn't cute. It wasn't like your sort of average range. It wasn't meh. It was actually quite fun looking around for the materials. And that was kind of... one of those quests that you remember, because it was one of those ones where you actually got something with it afterwards, so it actually felt like it was part of it. Actually, can't I put it in all cute? It wasn't that cute, because they were like bullying me, and they're like, ugh. But also in saying that, you kind of got to the end of it. You know what, I'm going to put it in all cute, even though it wasn't cute as such, it was kind of middle range type deal. Meaning Shark Man, your neighbor, essentially. Some of the conversation was alright. I'm not gonna lie. Some of the conversation was actually quite good. It just dragged on a bit, so it was meh. Personally, it was one of those things where it was good to meet someone else other than your typical people, but also in saying that, it wasn't something that really kind of needed to be there. So it's going in meh. The rope. Right, retrieving the rope. I'm gonna have to say it was worse than delivering Granny's nudes. It wasn't a fun quest. It was literally just a case of finding a Stanley knife and cutting it. The actual quest itself to get like the library book and stuff like that, which I think is later, was fine. But getting the rope itself was very, very boring. It just wasn't that great. Getting arrested. Now this is practically to do with Granny's nudes and like all that sort of stuff. Obviously, please, this is going to be filled with spoilers, so do not watch this. But obviously, if you haven't already seen that series, I have already said go watch it before you get spoiled. So this is after you go to the retirement home, you deliver the nudes, and then they ask you to steal essentially Viagra from a sleeping person, and you get caught doing it because you're pretty much seen as like this horrible person for trying to steal Viagra pills from the pocket of someone who's asleep. It was great. I'd probably say that was super cool. That was a good thing to do. It was a lot of fun. Not that there's much to it, but it was quite a very fun process to go through of like delivering Granny's nudes and then going from like delivering her nudes to like trying to steal pills from an old person. And then the granny's reaction after it made it so much better, where it was like, you get arrested and they're like, oh shit, he's a minor, blah, 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 blah. You go home and she's like, oh, I'll deal with the officers. And then all of a sudden as soon as they leave, what the fuck, man? And I was just like, what? I loved it. All right, next one. Rod. Oh, this was the pizza that looked very, very inappropriate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put that in hilarious. It was great. Because it's literally like you go to this pizza place for like a free pizza, and then all of a sudden it literally does not represent a cheese pizza whatsoever. It literally looks like he's, you know, jacking off on the pizza. So, yes, that was great. The nightmare thing. Honestly, don't quite remember it. I did do a playthrough where I was actually able to get it. Because obviously this is just like one of those you find just clothing wise. I'd probably say it was meh. Because obviously it's not that words. You don't quite remember it as much as some other things. So yeah, I'm going to just stick with meh. Alright. Braille porn. Absolutely super goop. That was hilarious. Especially when you come across this old guy that's blind and he's walking his dog and stuff. And it's just one of those interesting quests where it's like, you don't expect it, and then the dialogue is hilarious. I would put it in hilarious, but I feel like it deserves more than that. So, we're sticking with that. Alright, when you're flying away from the bullies, I'm fairly certain that's what this is. It was kind of cute. It was kind of like that relief moment. So I'm going to put it in all cute. But yes, there's not much else I can say about it, honestly. You just go through the quest and you fly away from the bullies, which end up getting you shot down anyways, and yeah, that sort of stuff. The retina scanner. There wasn't much to it, honestly. It was a bit meh, so it's going in meh. Printer. Getting access to the printer. It's a whole process, I believe, and it's just a case of you got to try and distract the receptionist and all that sort of stuff. So it was kind of one of those like middle of the range things where it kind of just got annoying after a while, because you're like trying to figure out shit, and it actually included, you know, those two right there. So yes, the diamond ring. Oh, that's great. No, I'd say that's hilarious. That is a favorite side quest of mine. It's literally where you talk to the janitor and he's complaining about his marriage and how his wife's moved on and stuff like that. And then you actually sabotage the wife and her partner's new date by ordering him about a thing of dicks. And he's like so caught up in himself that he's like, oh yeah, awesome, yeah. And then she has an absolute fucking tantrum. It's hilarious. So, that's that. Grabbing the cream. Ooh, getting that like rash cream. And it's like, it's to do with like the texter thing. Where you go outside, you meet this guy with a scar, and then you have to go in the nurse and pretty much ask her and say that you've got like a rash thing down, you know, below. So I would probably say that's hilarious. Actually, would it be hilarious? No, I'd probably say it's all cute. Because I mean, you're doing something helpful for someone. It's kind of cute. The eyeball thing. Now, I'd probably say this is hilarious. Purely for the fact that it is one of those events where they were like making jokes about it from this paddle pop of like, about cyclopses and stuff. And then all of a sudden he gets like, well, Coop's like running around trying to like run away from the bullies. And then all of a sudden it's just like, this guy gets a paddle pop thing stuck. And then Coop tries to like rip it out and actually comes out with the eyeball. So I'd probably say it's hilarious. Based on like the storyline, if you haven't already seen it, please go watch my stuff for that. The locker thing, trying to get into your locker and having some awkward conversation about how he was turned on watching them, and that's pretty much the only way how you can get them away from your locker. Well, from what I saw anyways. I'd probably say that was worse than delivering Granny's nudes. It was one of those things where it's like, whatever. The overdue book, the librarian that wants to break your fucking knees. My god, I like this quest. But the process you have, like, the conversations you have in this quest make it like the sort of middle range thing. The process itself is kind of a meh, but because I like the dialect, I'm going to put it middle of the range. Alright. Texter. Or like, yes, markers and stuff. I'd probably say hilarious. Only because I really like the idea of someone that's just like huffing fucking... He's like huffing markers. He's like smelling them, and then he's all of a sudden he's just like, oh, this is great. And then obviously you've got to like go get the scar cream for that other guy, which is already mentioned in All Cute. You get that, and he's actually a dealer for strong scented markers, and then all of a sudden you have some guy inside that's like huffing markers like by the dozen. So I would probably say hilarious. The wasp thing, where literally you like catch this wasp, will you like have to go through this whole process of like smoking out the wasps and all sorts of stuff, and then it drops and then falls over the neighbor's yard and all that sort of stuff. I really enjoyed it. I really liked the dialect. It was great. It was cool. Sneaking in to that. Well, sneaking into the retirement home. I like the dialect, and I like the whole concept of it all. So I believe it is above middle range by a little bit, but I'm going to put it in All Cute anyways, because you are practically doing something for your grandmother, and obviously it's not hilarious to the point where you have, like, it is a bit funny, but it could be better. Alright, the attraction thing. There are actually two sides that you can choose. You can choose the attraction thing where like they fall in love over hating you, or you can make them fight, and then that's how you distract the office lady, the one with the printer. So I'd probably say it's cute, especially that ending. If it was like the belting up one, because you just go through this whole process of literally just trying to get like this USB in the printer so you can print out the posters for Sawyer, which are the Where posters down the bottom. See, it all kind of links up in that way, which I like about this game. Last but not least is changing your permanent record. Now, I wouldn't say this is worse because I didn't mind it. Well, literally all you do is you go into a thing and they're like, oh, do you want the short or long answer? And then normally you just go for the short answer, and it's like, oh, well, you're fucked because you're a loser. No prom date equals loser or whatever, which is ultimately the story. And then he walks out to become a cheerleader, or like train to become a cheerleader. And you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to get some white out and just cover over my permanent record. So I'd probably say that's a meh thing. Because even though it was fun, and even though it was like this funny conversation about how the principal becomes a cheerleader, it was one of those things that, yes, I feel like it did need to be included in the story, but it was one of those things where it was like, it wasn't as great as other quests. It was very simple, very basic, very just not quite what you'd expect. Alright guys, well, that appears to be my list. I'm sorry I rambled on for a bit. I'm going to keep everything in this because I really can't be bothered going through it, maybe. But here is my list. If you agree with me, sure. If you don't agree with me, comment down below, and I'd like to see like where your list would be. Obviously, I know there are probably some things that I did miss in this. Obviously, there are some, like the ending and stuff, but I don't really want to go into detail about that. Ultimately, if you did like this video, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already, and comment down below if you'd like to give me a list of shit to tier anyways. Next. Can be gaming, can be anything related. I don't mind. But other than that, I have to go. I feel like I've done this long enough. But yes, thank you guys so much for watching. And also, if you have any suggestions of what content you'd like to see, please comment down below. Also, I will provide cards and stuff for the Freakpocalypse stuff, just in case you haven't watched that, which will contain all the main and the side quests. So please feel free to check that out. I might do it in the description, I might do it in cards, whatever. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching, and good damn bye.